Hello, my name is Brandon Estes, and I serve as one of the band directors here at Naperville Central High School. Today's video is going to focus on preparations for the ILMEA auditions for the fall of 2020, specifically for those students that might not have access to the standard instruments due to the COVID-19 pandemic. If you are auditioning for mallets, and specifically we're going to start with the scale studies, you might not have access to a full 4 1/3 or 4.5 octave marimba at your home, but maybe you have access to maybe a beginner bell kit, or you might have access to a practice xylophone. Each of these instruments is around 2.5 octaves, give or take, and wanted to discuss some options that you can take with performing your scales and your etude. So first, with the scales, what we first want to do is take a look at the instrument, and I'm going to start on the xylophone. And as we go through playing, just identifying where those turnarounds are going to best fit on the instrument, going from the major scale to the melodic minor scales. So looking at this instrument, if I'm starting on concert F, I'm going to start down here on this F, and I'm going to kind of work my way up, but I'm going to keep it within this sort of range. So this instrument is about 2.5 octaves, starts on a low C, goes up 1 octave, goes up the next octave, and the highest note on this instrument here is the G. So if I were to play starting on concert F, you'd see me move around this way. Okay, so again, you see that staying within the range, went down to the low D. Now I start working my way back up. Now we're gonna play the same scales over on the bell set, but we've got to adapt what we did from the xylophone over to the bells, because the low note on the xylo was a C and the low note on this bell set is a G. So I'm gonna have to kind of shift around where I'm gonna practice those turnarounds. I'll try that starting on concert F, do maybe the first couple of scales. Okay. Next, we're going to talk about the 2 mallet piece. And again, this is meant for more of a 4 1/3 octave marimba, and we're going to try to consolidate that down to a 2.5 octave mallet instrument. So I'm going to break a couple of the sections down and stop in places where I feel, again, this is my interpretation, where I might move something down an octave or move it up an octave, again, to help facilitate being able to play all of the notes within that range. So here's the beginning, and I'll stop towards the end of the third line where I'll make my first jump. Okay. A little stuff towards the end of that phrase there. However, what you just saw is instead of going from the E flat right here and down to this being my C4, I dropped it down an octave. And what that's going to do is prepare me for the next phrase as I get ready for the C6, which is 2 octaves higher. So here's that section now. And this is going to be the next 1, 2, 3, 4 lines. I'll demonstrate the final 5 bars, but keep in mind, I now had to shift up to that A flat so that I can leave room for the low G flat that I'm going to need towards the end of this phrase. Okay, and there you have, breaking down in sections, the two mallet etude, and hopefully that gives you a better consideration on how to adapt a smaller instrument but still be able to play through the etude. With that, I encourage you to reach out to your band directors. Ask them what equipment that you have access to that you can bring into your homes and practice, and make sure that you get comfortable before you make those recordings, those virtual recordings. Our final demonstration is going to be the snare drum etude. Number one, this is a lot of fun to play. But if you don't have a concert snare drum at home, what I would highly recommend is a practice pad. This practice pad has more of a gum rubber soft surface on the top, and I like that because it does replicate that feel of a snare drum a little bit more, specifically for playing your rolls, and there's a lot of rolls in this etude. I also have it on a concert snare drum stand so that I can get the appropriate height to my playing abilities. I'm also going to put my stand low enough to where I can still read the notes, but it's not going to get in the way of seeing my hands. So with that, here is the entire etude number 23. There you have it.